In the previous lecture, we installed all the tools required for Apigee CID's project, but having the tools installed isn't enough.
That's what we will configure in this lecture. We will authenticate with Google Cloud, select our project, generate an access token, and finally verify that our credentials can communicate with Apigee X or not. So this is very important. Let's first understand why authentication is required. Our API proxy is going to live inside Apigee X, which is a part of Google Cloud. When a command from our laptop tries to access Apigee, Google needs to know two things. First, who are you? And second, what are you allowed to do? Authentication answers the first question. IAM permissions answers the second. So authentication and authorization are related, but they are not the same thing. For our hands-on project, we will use the Google Cloud CLI. We will authenticate using our Google account through the gcloud command. After authentication, the CLI can obtain auth access tokens that can be used to make authenticated requests to Google Cloud APIs, including the Apigee API. Let's authenticate our local machine. I will run gcloud auth login. This opens a browser where I can sign in with my Google account. Once authentication is successful, the Google Cloud CLI stores the credentials locally and uses the account as the active identity for subsequent commands. Now let's verify which account is active. gcloud auth list shows the authenticated accounts. The account marked as active is the identity that our Google Cloud CLI commands will use. This is especially important when you have multiple Google accounts. Authentication tells Google who we are, but also we need to tell Google Cloud which project we are working with. This is where the project ID comes in. I will set my project using gcloud config set project. From this point forward, commands that rely on the active project will use this project unless I explicitly specify another one. One important distinction before we continue. Google Cloud projects have both a project ID and a project number. The project ID is the human readable identifier we commonly use in commands. The project number is a numeric identifier that Google Cloud assigns to the project. You will see the project number later when we work with Google Build Service accounts. This is a command that will describe on which project you are working along with the project ID and the number. Let's verify our configuration. The first command confirms the active project. The second command allows us to see the projects available to our authenticated accounts. At this point, we have successfully connected our local Google Cloud CLI to our Google Cloud project. Now we need one more important piece, the access token. An auth access token is a short-lived credential that can be presented to Google APIs to authenticate requests. I'm going to generate an access token now. Notice that this is sensitive credential material. I'm intentionally not going to expose the token on screen. In a real CI/CD pipeline, we should also avoid hard coding tokens into a source code, Git repositories, or configuration files. So writing the access token in your pom.xml file is a very bad approach and we should avoid it. Remember, we should never commit tokens to GitHub. So let's put everything together. Our developer authenticates using a Google account. The Google Cloud CLI provides the authentication mechanism. We select a Google Cloud project. We generate an auth access token. And then the Google Cloud IAM determines what our identity is allowed to do. And finally, our authenticated request can communicate with Apigee X. This is the authentication foundation that our CI/CD pipeline will build on. Let's recap what we have completed. We have authenticated our Google account. We have configured our Google Cloud project. Then we have understood the difference between project ID and project number. We have generated an auth access token. And most importantly, we have verified communication with the Apigee API. Our environment is now authenticated and ready for the next stage.